Alright guys, so quick little PSA before the actual battle starts. I really love it that you guys want to follow me on Twitter and check out my Discord, which a link to both of those is down below if you guys want to go check them out. But just please don't spam tweet me and don't spam message me asking for battles. Like, you guys have to understand, I have 2 kids and I have responsibilities, so I'm not always able to battle when you're looking for a battle. Now, I usually tweet out when I am looking for matches, or I'll go into the Discord battle request chat on my Discord, and that's where I'll take battles. So just, yeah, for future reference, guys, please don't spam me when I'm looking for battles. You will definitely know when I'm looking for battles, and I'll definitely battle you. But with that out of the way, guys, thank you all for the amazing, beautiful support on the Wi-Fi battles. I love it so much, and it really makes me happy that you guys have been enjoying the content. So just thank you guys so much again from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate every single one of you, and this has gone on a little bit longer than I wanted to. So cue the intro. Yeah, Bowser YouTube, 6fthax here. Happy guys, today another really good OU Wi-Fi battle I had against Aquarium. Now, of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer that like button down below to answer the question of the day. Now, as you can see from the teams, we are running very similar teams actually. I think we only have like 2 Pokemon that are different on each side of our teams. Luckily though, for me going into this match, Mega Metagross is a humongous threat to my opponent, so that's going to be a huge benefit to me in this match. Gyarados could potentially be a threat if I lose my Tapu Fini, so I'm definitely going to have to watch out for that. But we're both actually going to lead with Tapu Finis, probably expecting the other one to lead with Landorus. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this chance to go for the Nature's Madness. In turn 1, Bad Luck Leo decides to poke his head in, and I missed my Nature's Madness on this Kartana, which actually plays a pretty big role later in the match, as you guys will see, as I hard switched directly into my defensive Landorus. I wanted to see if this was going to be a Life Orb variant, a Z-Move variant, or a Scarf variant of Kartana. So I don't see Life Orb, which means he could be Z-Move or Scarf, so I definitely have to keep that in mind. As I chip him down with the Rocky Helmet, I can take this chance to go for my Stealth Rocks. I was very close to going for the U-turn, but I can go for that this turn, expecting him to not go for Surf and most likely go for the Defog, also seeing if he is faster than me, which, because he went before me, he's definitely running a whole lot of speed, a lot more than what I am running, so that's really good information for later in this match, as I can U-turn into my Magearna. I'm in a pretty good spot because I can either try and go for the Flash Cannon here or go for the Volt Switch if I really want to. Now, ultimately, I decided to go for the Volt Switch just because I was pretty positive he wouldn't risk bringing in Gyarados, and he's not going to risk bringing in a potentially offensive Landorus, so I'm going to be able to keep up the offensive momentum. My brain just drew a blank there, and I can Volt Switch into this giant threat that is Mega Metagross, which looks absolutely amazing shiny. I was gonna say absolutely amazing beautiful, but I mean, it's beautiful shiny nonetheless. So he's gonna switch directly into his Tapu Fini, and I was so painfully close to going for the Thunder Punch, predicting his switch into the Tapu Fini. Either way though, this is fine because, as you're about to see, Meteor Mash is going to do a solid 49%, which is really nice. This definitely tells me that Thunder Punch the following turn should be able to knock him out, but he's going to make a really good play here. Switch out Scouting for the Thunder Punch, switching directly into his Metagross check, which is probably this Garchomp, but I do have the Ice Punch. Now, I didn't go for the Thunder Punch ultimately because he could have tried to switch into his Landorus, and by going for the Meteor Mash, I could have got off some chip damage on Landorus, then potentially knocked him out with the Ice Punch. As I'm able to hit the incoming Garchomp, I am then going to go for the Ice Punch, hoping that he would stay in, but no, he does make another good switch out here into his Gyarados, scouting out for the Ice Punch. And at this point, he knows that I have Meteor Mash and Ice Punch. He still doesn't know what my final 2 moves are, so I'm hoping that I can keep the Thunder Punch concealed. As we both switch out here, I bring in my Tapu Fini as he brought in the Garchomp, scouting out to see if I did have the Thunder Punch, but I didn't want to allow that Gyarados to potentially Z-move or crunch me after Mega Evolving, so I'm going to go for the Moonblast here. And look at that. That did about 50% to this Kartana. So if I had been able to hit my Nature's Madness, I would have knocked out Kartana there, and I wouldn't have had to worry about it, but it's going to be a pain later in this match. So he's going to take this chance to switch into his Tapu Fini, as I'm going to go ahead and switch directly on now into my Landorus, and I get the worst end of the switch outs because he could still potentially have the Surf or the Scald, and because I'm not touching the ground, Scald could potentially burn me. So I really don't want to risk staying in here and him outspeeding me, so I'm just gonna make the hard switch directly into my Magearna, as he actually ends up going for the Moonblast, which tells me he definitely does not have the Surf and he does not have the Scald. So luckily he doesn't get a special attack drop, which means I'm in a pretty good position right now. I could definitely go for the Volt Switch, but because I'm very positive he's going to switch into his own Magearna, I want to start wearing down his Magearna for my Hoopa, because as long as he's got this Magearna around, my Hoopa is not going to be doing anything in this battle. So I'm able to get off some decent chip damage with the Flash Cannon, as he does end up outspeeding me because I have Hidden Power Fire on this Magearna and I still haven't gone to go bottle cap it. So he does outspeed me by 1 point potentially, and I'm able to get the Volt Switch off and put this Magearna down below 50%, which means he should be knocked out by the Meteor Mash coming from my Mega Gross. But I'm actually going to go for the Thunder Punch this turn, thinking that he would bring in the Tapu Fini or bring in the Gyarados, and he makes a very aggressive switch into Garchomp, and then he ends up over predicting, expecting me to predict him to switch out, as I'm able to knock him out with the Ice Punch. This most likely was his Stealth Rocker, just because it was defensive Garchomp, so that Landorus could potentially be Scarfed, or it could be Double Dance Z-move, as he brings in the Landorus. Obviously, I do not want to risk him potentially being Scarfed, so I'm going to be forced to switch out here. Luckily, I do have my defensive Landorus at a solid amount of HP, so even if he went for the knockoff, I would easily be able to take that and then hopefully U-turn or maybe get up my rocks. But he ends up making a very ballsy play by going for the Swords Dance, and then he's going to pull out the Supersonic Skystrike, which even though I did get the Intimidate off, he's still at +1 attack, most likely Adamant, and this is Stab. So as much as I wanted my Landorus to live this hit and in return HP Ice his Landorus, I just die. Like, that completely caught me off guard. Like, I was very positive he would be a Z move, but I wasn't expecting him to be the Supersonic Skystrike Landorus. Now this is good for me because I just get a free switch back into my Mega Metagross, which, as you guys can see from this match, is doing so much work to him, as in comes the Magearna. Ice Punch does a respectable amount of damage, enough to the point where I will be able to knock him out with the Thunder Punch, and at this point he's got no Stealth Rocker and I have no Stealth Rocker, so it's a pretty even playing field. As back comes the Kartana. At this point I'm thinking this has to be Scarfed. He's not Life Orb and he's not the Z move, because Landorus was the Z move. So I switch directly into my Magearna, as he does end up going for the Night Slash. Obviously I do resist that, so it's going to do 0. And I'm in a pretty good spot of where I can honestly just go for the Volt Switch this turn. He's either going to switch into his Tapu Fini, or if he really wants to predict me to go for the Flash Cannon, he could make an aggressive switch into his Gyarados. So either way, Volt Switching here was definitely my better play, because now I just bring back in my Mega Metagross. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not bringing in my Hoopa or my Garchomp, is because he's got 2 Flying type Pokemon, and he's got a Fairy and a Steel type, which means my Scarfchomp really isn't going to be doing anything in this match. And then as long as he's got the Kartana and this Tapu Fini around, my Hoopa isn't going to be doing much either, because I'm Choice Specs. So I'm able to knock out the Tapu Fini, which is really good, as he then gets a switch into his Gyarados. He does end up getting off the Intimidate on me, but this is fine because I'm still just going to stay in here and go for the Thunder Punch, because I really do not want to allow this Gyarados to potentially set up. As he switches directly into his Kartana, I am able to get off a little bit of chip damage, but at this point it's really a prediction game on whether or not I should switch out, predicting him to Night Slash again. So he does make the really good play of going for the Smart Strike into my switch of Magearna. Now he gets a crit there. I'm not sure if that crit actually mattered or not, but if I would have been able to live, I would have then switched into my Garchomp just to get off the rough skin damage, but in the long run it's not game changing, I guess. So Either way, he is locked into Smart Strike, so I can get a switch back into my Mega Metagross. And I'm still honestly in a really good spot of where I don't have to predict. Like, it doesn't matter if he brings in Landorus or the Gyarados. I have Ice Punch for Landorus, and I've got Thunder Punch for Gyarados. And funny enough, I actually freeze Gyarados with the Ice Punch. Now this freeze honestly does not matter because I still have Tapu Fini, which is at full HP, I'm pretty sure. So even unless he was Z-move bounce regular Gyarados, then this freeze honestly doesn't matter, just because Tapu Fini could have easily taken on Gyarados 1v1, and at that point I Moonblast to knock out Gyarados or knock out the Kartana on the switch-in, or I get off well-needed chip damage on the Landorus. So that freeze wasn't game-changing in my opinion. As I knock out the Gyarados, he then brings in Landorus, and because my Metagross is well-trained, I get another freeze. Now, he told me he was going for the Rock Polish, but I still have Garchomp, which can live a hit, and then I still have Tapu Fini, which could have lived a hit, but then at that point, Scarf Kartana maybe could have been an issue, but Kartana shouldn't have even been around if I just hit Nature's Madness turn 1. But yeah, he's just going to end up running because at that point, the match was basically in my favor. Honestly, I don't think those freezes were entirely game-changing. Like, the match definitely would have been closer if I didn't get the freezes, but I'm like 99.9% sure I still would have won. And you guys can let me know, like, you can comment scenarios and stuff, but every scenario I played in my head, I definitely would have been able to win that game. Either way though, I still thought it was a really good match. Like, my opponent definitely knew what he was doing, pivoting around my Mega Metagross accordingly just because of how huge of a threat it was to his team. Either way though, hopefully y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, guys, make sure to hammer that like button down below. And to answer the question of the day, check out the 2 videos on the end screen, which one was my TBU Week 3 match, which I almost had a heart attack on just because of how good of a game it was. So another match will be going up tomorrow, guys. Actually, the start of a new little Wi-Fi series is going to go up tomorrow. And just, yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. So with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow. Later, everybody.
Cause my brain and heart are both tied in a knot, and this hinders me from crying a lot. This causing me to show no emotion. But when I said I cared, I wasn't joking. But I guess it's too late for me to become broken. For now, I'm living with no more pain, tears, or hoping. I'm just coasting. Yeah, I said I'm coasting. No more pain, tears, and hoping. For real.